So we got a question from our buddy Jeff about competition loss. He says, I just had my first competition and it went not so well. I know that this is a great learning experience and I've taken a lot from it, but it was a little depressing. How did you view losses in competition, particularly early in your career, as I have been training for about a year and a half? Thanks for reading. If you have any advice, it'd be greatly appreciated. So Jeff, thank you for the question, brother. And to answer your question about how I dealt with losses in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu career, poorly, very poorly, the absolute worst way that you could deal with them. So when I would lose a match back in the day, I would shake my opponent's hand in respect, and I would walk off the mat, and I would just take my gi and throw it in the corner, and I would like stomp around and be pissy, and I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I was a complete poor sport. And by the way, guys, when I do these videos, I'm never doing these videos as a way of like pointing my finger and telling you what to do. I'm telling you these things because I feel like over the years, I have screwed up so much stuff in a really big way that I'm trying to be like, look, here's how I screwed up in all these things. Maybe I can sort of steer you in a more positive direction, okay? And again, I was the sorest loser ever. Eventually, I'd come around after a couple hours and I'd start talking to my buddies again, that sort of thing. Now, even worse was the fact that when our coach would take the videos that we would have, because we always recorded them, he would take them and put them into a VHS tape. For you young people out there, the VHS tapes were these rectangular, like, plastic things that had tape inside them that would play a video in a VCR on your TV. Go look it up if you don't know what that is. So he would give us the VHS tape of all the matches. When I would watch the matches, I would always sort of watch the wins, and I would enjoy the wins, right? I was like, oh, look at me do the takedown, look at me do the submission. And then as soon as my loss came up, I would fast forward past it because I couldn't watch it. My little ego was too fragile at the time for me to just deal with it, and it just stung too much. I couldn't watch it. Now, this was really bad because now I kept making the same mistakes over and over again. So as the matches kept like coming, as I continued to compete, I kept doing the same stuff over and over again because I wasn't learning from it. And again, this just sort of happened. So Jeff, first off, you're already in a better spot than I was because I didn't look at them as learning experiences. I just looked at them as I screwed up. Now, I was trying to think about like pinpoint when I sort of got over this, and I don't know when it was. I think it's just one of those things that gradually happened with me because I continued to compete for years, and as I competed, it's just the nature of the beast. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's something you have to sort of understand yourself, right? No matter how well, Jeff, you prepare, no matter how much you drill, no matter how good your game plan is, when you get out there to compete, it is a roll of the dice, brother. There is chance involved with it. Now, obviously, you improve your odds by training hard, but again, it's never 100% foolproof. And when you understand that, you can then become sort of detached to the outcome, right? You understand that the outcome is going to be one or the other, and sometimes there's not a lot you can do with it, right? So you do your best to win the matches while you're in the thick of it, and if you lose, you don't take it too personally. You understand that it's a learning experience, and if you win, you go, great, perfect, right? And so that's super important because you got to think, man, and I know you said you're a little depressed. This is like one battle in the sort of the waging of the war of jiu-jitsu, right? The progression, the war of progression that you're waging in jiu-jitsu. And so this is one battle. It's not the war. It's not the end of it. And so it's one day of possible thousands of days in jiu-jitsu. It's one tournament with possibly hundreds to come. And so you can't get too fixated on this one loss. So what I would say to you, brother, is you're already on the right track with this. You said, okay, it's a learning experience. So again, maybe you need to do some work. Maybe talk to your coach, set up a private lesson to go over all the stuff that you did wrong in the match so you can figure out what you did. And get back to the gym and start working on everything. From there, go out and compete again. I would say compete as soon as possible, man, because again, I have guys that compete in it's a subset of jiu-jitsu, right? You could be the best person in the mat inside of your gym, and then when you go compete, it's like you have trouble firing off on all cylinders because there's just something holding you back. And there really is something to learning how to compete. And so I would say keep competing until you win. And I would say at least in the next coming months, try to knock out at least 3 more tournaments because there really is some magic with getting a bunch of tournaments in quick succession. And you'll start to see that you get more and more relaxed and you're able to play your game and be who you are in here, out there. And then the last thing is, again, don't take it too personally because, again, you're going to lose. Think about it this way. Every single jiu-jitsu practitioner that you've ever watched, whether it be in person or online, or myself included, anyone, doesn't matter. Every one of us is lost. And that's just the nature of the beast. That's the game you're playing. And so when you understand that, when you understand you are going to lose at some point, you become kind of detached from it. And that's the best way to be because then you can look at things objectively and be like, look, this is what I did wrong. This is what I need to fix. Let's get back to work. So Jeff, good luck to you with your training and your future competitions, brother. And I'll talk to you guys next time.